In basketball, emotions can run high, but few athletes channel that intensity like Caitlin Clark. When the game gets physical or the whistles fall silent, Caitlin Clark's response is immediate. You can see it in her face, hear it in her voice, and feel it in her fierce reactions. These moments expose the immense pressure she carries and the relentless drive she has to win. These are Caitlin Clark's most passionate moments, and with each one, her intensity only grows.
Kicking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down.
We begin with the incident that perfectly showcased how quickly things can escalate when Caitlin Clark is under pressure. On January 10th, 2024, against the Purdue Boilermakers, she came in with a laser-sharp focus that was impossible to ignore. Her stance, her precise movements, and the way she scanned the court made it clear that she was on a mission from the start. No words were needed. Her intentions were obvious. But such fiery determination often attracts attention. Just moments into the game, her teammate Kylie Feuerbach took a blatant shove, a foul that went uncalled. Caitlin reacted immediately. She yelled in frustration, demanding a call. Instead, she was assessed a technical foul. No warning, no second chances, just the consequence of showing emotion.
Met with some contact. Clark is upset she gets teed up in the latter part of the game.
Yeah, you could tell.
When early incidents like that happen, they set a tone that only intensifies. And for Clark, the pressure didn't ease. It mounted. The weight stayed with her, following her into every game afterward. On March 23, 2024, during Iowa's game against Holy Cross, it reappeared. After a sharp steal in the backcourt, Clark sprinted forward, ready to make a play, but was quickly overwhelmed by defenders. They trapped her with size and strength, forcing a turnover without a foul being called. Trapped and fouled without a whistle. Her frustration took over again.
Early, it forces the defense to spread out. It opens it up for 22 to go to work. Clark with the steal. Has it knocked loose. Working on the smaller defender, triple team.
Her response was instant. She bounced the ball off her own head while the sideline erupted, calling for a technical. But this wasn't an impulsive outburst. It was the result of relentless physical play, constant pressure, and missed calls. For Caitlin Clark, this had become an exhausting cycle. That cycle didn't end in college basketball either. It followed her straight into the professional league. On July 17, 2024, in a game between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings, Clark once again found herself isolated under pressure. With just 45 seconds left, she rushed down the court while her teammates remained still. Faced with a triple team, and no foul being called, she tried to make a play, but the opportunity collapsed, and so did her patience.
Inside.
Afterward, Caitlin Clark turned to the sideline, grabbed a water bottle, and tossed it across the court. The frustration that had been simmering for months erupted, no longer able to be contained.
But right now, they're just thinking about winning this ball game. Clark quickly gets it up court, then got it knocked away. Odyssey cradles it.
And just when it seemed the pressure couldn't possibly rise any higher, it did. On February 25, 2024, during a pivotal game between Iowa and Ohio State, Caitlin Clark once again found herself in a fiery moment, this time against guard J.C. Sheldon. Midway through the game, Clark was blatantly fouled as Sheldon grabbed her left hand right in front of the referees. Another hit followed immediately after, both in the same sequence, and still, there was no whistle, no call.
Welcome back to Dallas. Caitlin Clark upset with herself.
Incidents like these leave a lasting impact. Being hit on consecutive plays without a whistle only adds to the frustration that has been building for months. But this wasn't the last time Clark would face someone unafraid to play rough. On June 1st, 2024, during a WNBA showdown between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese reached a boiling point. Reese, known for bringing extra intensity when facing Clark, delivered a brutal shove with her arm and elbow, sending Clark crashing to the floor.
With 7:36 to play in the fourth, and she hasn't shot the ball well. Scrambled, tied up. Sheldon, Clark.
While the hit might have seemed like a typical foul during a rebound, in the heat of the moment it was far from ordinary. The referees allowed it, the crowd erupted, and Reese fueled the tension further with taunting. Such scenes have become a regular part of Clark's WNBA journey, taking the hits, staying on her feet, and responding not with words but with her performance. With every blow, she pushes back harder. Yet it wasn't just physical confrontations testing her limits. Sometimes, the officials were the source of her frustration. On January 10, 2024, during Iowa's game against Purdue, Clark made one of the toughest shots in basketball, a clean half-court buzzer beater. According to research from the Journal of Sports Science, the odds of making such a shot are roughly 1 in 100, but instead of celebrating glory, the moment was erased.
Kicking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down. 50-50?
50-50.
The referee called a foul on Clark just before she released the ball, wiping away what could have been a season-defining moment. She was already mid-shot, deep in motion, but none of that mattered. The basket was disallowed, and Clark's frustration exploded once more.
Field goal percentages actually go up.
Incidents like these only added to the mounting tension. Clark wasn't just up against defenders. She was fighting for fairness, and sometimes even for basic acknowledgement. But missed calls weren't isolated events. They became a recurring pattern. On May 20th, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun, Caitlin Clark found herself in a similar situation. First, she was clearly fouled while driving to the basket, then had her arm grabbed as she lost possession. 2 clear fouls, yet once again, no call was made.
Trying to draw the foul. Referee signaled to count it.
Oh my.
What's the verdict?
This time, Clark didn't hold back. She turned straight to the referee, her anger evident for all to see, and let her frustration spill out loud.
12.
Here she just loses the handle. Alyssa Thomas able to come up with it.
Lip readers had no difficulty deciphering her words. There was no softening it. Caitlin Clark had reached her breaking point.
Takes the foul there, which you can't do. That's a big difference from college to the pro.
It's this type of treatment that consistently fuels Caitlin Clark's fiery moments on the court. One of the most intense came on August 18, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm. After missing a shot, her frustration boiled over. She slapped the backboard padding in anger, and almost instantly, the whistle blew, resulting in a technical foul for what was deemed disrespecting the game.
Let's take a look.
And just when it seemed like she might finally catch a break, another challenge emerged. On May 30th, 2024, during a matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm, Caitlin Clark had just hit a three-pointer and was jogging back when Victoria Vivians hit her with a forearm to the chest. Up until that point, Clark had managed to stay composed, but for many fans, this moment felt like the tipping point.
After that foul call on Aaliyah, but this one I think is a...
This time, Clark wasn't alone. Her teammates immediately stepped in to defend her, making it one of the rare moments where the burden wasn't solely on her. Still, her struggles extend beyond the final buzzer. Off the court, she faces relentless scrutiny, unfair treatment, and constant criticism, often just for shining too brightly. The pressure to remain calm never lets up. You can frequently see her forcing herself to stay composed, even with her father occasionally stepping in, urging her to dial it down.
Comes off a stagger on the weak side, but she comes off a pin down here, wide open. Victoria Vivian's an old NBA.
Even so, there are moments when the pressure becomes unbearable. And in those instances, Caitlin Clark reveals exactly who she is. With the spotlight fixed on her every move, physical defense is a given, sometimes crossing the line, sometimes feeling targeted. But what sets her apart is not just her skill, but how she responds when everything threatens to break. She doesn't retreat. She locks in. The energy shifts, the crowd leans in, and the game tips in her favor. That's what makes Caitlin Clark truly unforgettable. If you enjoyed these moments as much as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which moment made you shout at the screen. See you next time.